Okay guys, can you hear me now? Is this... is... You guys are gonna troll me, but... Okay, yeah, I think, yeah. Okay. What is up? Is that okay? Yeah. What is up? It's been years since... It's been a while. I don't know, the last time I had streamed, I think was like 6 months ago. Happy you're back. Thank you. I've been doing a lot of painting, doing like art stuff, and I've been selling some artworks on the side. I've been more focusing on just doing commissions and like painting, because I feel like that's what I set out to do in the first place with like YouTube and stuff. So kind of just going back to that, and I've been enjoying it. And what have I made? Yesterday I was making this. I made some birch boards for painting. I just, I glued some canvas to it, and maybe I'll do some plein air painting with it or something. But yeah, I've just been going to like a lot of art gallery openings and just life stuff. Need more stick. Guys, don't you know I've already released a sticker pack. I released a Chinese New Year sticker pack. I'm also tired of being a NEET. Honestly, this is the annoying thing about being a NEET on like the internet, is that when you act as like a figurehead for a lot of these mentally ill people, which, like, to be fair, I'm also a mentally ill person, but when you kind of like wear it too much on your shoulder, like on your sleeve, right? It kind of enables some people to act the way they do, which I don't think is right. Like, so I just want to stop that. I want to not be a mentally ill NEET, and instead I'll be a mentally ill artist. And yeah, that's yeah. Haven't seen you in a while. A good way to look at it. Yeah, I'll just be at least the thing with artists is that like it's kind of cool to be mentally ill. I mean, I've always done art, so like, yeah. There are no normal artists. So are you employed or in training? Actually, I just finished with the comic. I finished making... I was working with a studio in Toronto to make a... I helped make an anthology. and I just finished with my comic. So I have a published book, I guess now. I have a published book with my art in it. Actually, not just one, but actually I technically have 3 at this point, because when I was a teenager, I did like children's storybooks. So I actually had 2 published books before that, but this is one with like my 3rd one at this point. Elisa casually publishing books. No, I don't know. I always did like freelancing stuff, and something about it is like kind of fun, because like you're not doing the same thing every day. I never like doing the same kind of thing every day, so I don't know. I kind of just even now I just kind of paint whatever. I do commissions, but I've also just been painting like on the side, just like my own kind of things that I come up with. So like, for example, I made this painting. I kind of like this one. It doesn't really have a full direction to it, but I really like where it's going. It's more of like a concept thing. I started using, what is it? I've used stuff that Andy Warhol's used. What is it called? I'm brain farting, I'm sorry. I use silkscreen printing. Yeah. I use silkscreen printing here to get like this little anime girl that I took out as a negative. And here it is. And then I just put this on to like a silkscreen thing, and then I repeat this pattern and I get a cool visual effect here. What else? I also try to make these creatures. I like this one too. This one I made is, I try to think of like some creature to, it's sort of like maybe an internet creature that kind of eats your soul and you just die. I remember reading a bunch of like creepypastas when I was younger, and I think one of them really scared me. And it was like some internet ghost that like when you browse certain sites, it just like eats your soul and like you die. Stuff like that. And yeah, so I just kind of painted that, and then I came out with this. What else do I have? Oh yeah, I have this huge ass painting I made. That's right, I made this. There we go. This thing. This is the best thing ever. This is like the biggest finished painting I've made so far. This is huge. Look at that. Shit. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's hope it doesn't fall. Isn't this amazing? It's beautiful. I want to show this in an art exhibition, but I gotta set up some art exhibitions. And a lot of art exhibition stuff is kind of just you just gotta know people. So I started making friends with people who are doing stuff like that, and I think I can get someone to actually help me with setting up my art exhibition. Looks like you almost have enough for a whole exhibition. I don't have like a full theme. I have quite a few pieces, but I feel like if I want an exhibition, I'm gonna need to get like a theme going, and I need artwork that kind of all fits that theme. I also been doing some portraits. Just testing. I like to test brushes with like portraits and stuff. Or yeah, with like portraits, because it's sort of like a good test of just like your brushes. I feel like I like this one more, but some people like this one. I guess there's more it probably doesn't come out too well on camera. There's more like variation in the line. It's not as like smooth, I guess. I feel like the skin doesn't look so super realistic on this one, so that's why I didn't like it as much. This one, I like the brushwork a bit better. It blended better, but also some people could say it's too blended. Oh, these were just like quick sketches. I could probably sell these later, to be honest. It's just practice things. I've also, yeah, I'm just kind of nerding out with my art and stuff. You blending of colors and shading is pretty good. Yeah, thank you for the $2, Rome Dog. Solid work. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But yeah, I kind of go to these exhibitions, not exhibition, or like these kind of gatherings with these people, and I feel so out of place, cause like I'm the youngest person at these places, and usually by far. Most of the people tend to be old, unless they're like partiers, and they're just there for the free booze. And yeah, other than the people that are just looking for like alcohol or something, it's all like old people. It's kind of like weird old people, and I feel so out of place, especially because they're just like, they're looking at me and just like, why is this like 6 foot tall person just here? I also just look so confused, and so I probably look so stupid there. But generally, if I talk to someone, they're pretty nice, but I just don't know what to say. 久しぶりですね。体調はいかがですか？日本の引きこもり in 埼玉。日本の引きこもりに、こんにちは。Ask them something about World War II if they remember something. That'd be kind of, I don't know, I feel like that'd be kind of strange to ask. If you go to someone in an art exhibition, right? If you say something like, "Man, you're so old. You look like you know what a F-22 bomber is." And they'll just be so confused when they look at you. If anything, they probably just envy your age. To be honest, like, I can see that. I mean, generally, when you have young artists in these kind of crowds, there's like a cult around their age, right? like recently actually I went to New York, and when I went to New York, I posted it on Instagram. I posted a lot of stuff on Instagram, but I went to New York, and I went to a bunch of art exhibition openings, and I went to art museums because I was just curious of like who is actually going to these places. So I went to one art gallery. What is it, like Kai Matsumiya art gallery in Chinatown in New York, and that was my first actual like art exhibition, because like in Ottawa where I am, there's like no freaking there's no like art culture other than like what, like I guess you have impressionist landscape paintings, but really like outside of like Canada and like some niche groups, there's nobody really knows about like Canadian art. So I guess maybe the only thing is like Native American art, which I kind of like Native American art. But other than that, there's really nothing in Canada. But like yeah, I went to the Kai Matsumiya art gallery opening uh, for the guy there. What is his name? Like was Aozaki, was it Nobutaka Aozaki or something was his name, if I remember correctly. And um, I I had a hard time like talking to people because everybody seemed to have like their own closed groups and stuff. People talking to the artist or something, but I didn't want to like intrude, so it was just like really awkward. Um, but like at the last moment when I was like gonna leave, there was like these two like guys. I think one of them was Welsh, and the other one was like um, was Ukrainian actually, and uh, started talking a little bit in the elevator, and then they're just like, "Oh, we're going to some other art exhibition openings. You want to come?" So I just started following these guys. These just random guys in New York. Sounds really sketchy to be honest, though. But I did it, and I didn't die. So yeah. Um, but it turns out they're kind of just going to exhibition openings just to get the booze and like leave. Neat Queen quitting her role 25/25 is really weird. Thank you, Indigo Edits. Um, and what else? Yeah, I kind of just like followed them, and like we went to this other gallery, I think called like West Park Gallery, if I remember correctly. I think it's a place that sells more like kitschy art. Um, I think some of the stuff was even like literally like AI, to be honest, but they're still selling for like a crap ton of money, and I'm so surprised like how much some of these artworks are selling for, like $5,000, $10,000 for like AI, and I'm like, man, that's insane. Um, and then they also, it seems like the technique that the art gallery had was that they had like old prints from like really famous painters like Picasso, Rembrandt, uh, Rene, and stuff, and then they put it beside newer artists who are less well known and established, and they use it as like sort of like an anchor to boost the prices of the other artists, which I think is pretty interesting. So like you'll just see like um, this like Rene painting beside like this random guy named Oz, but the art looks like, not gonna lie, it just looks like AI. Unironically, I think he did use AI to make it. Um, and but like it didn't say the prices of these, but I did like some research onto how much these are actually selling for. And I think like the Rene painting, or the Rene, I think it was a drawing. It might have been a drawing, but like the Rene drawing I saw, I think they said was like $500,000, And then I think the Oz guy, I looked up his name and looked at his like business page. I think he was selling artworks for like somewhere in the 10 grand, 10 to 50, 10 to 50 grand or something like that. Depends on the size. I was like, damn, that's insane for like AI artwork. That is ridiculous. But you know, if there's an audience for it, that's cool. For what I think is that they kind of sell artwork to like upper middle class ish people to like put in their yachts or whatever. So like the prices aren't like super expensive for artworks. Like it's not like you're buying like an authentic Picasso painting for like tens of millions, but you know, they're still quite expensive. But it's still within the range that like some rich wealthy but not like billionaire wealthy New Yorker can afford, sort of thing. I guess they're going for millionaires, not billionaires in this case. Number 51. Is your art yacht worthy? What do you mean art yacht? I don't have a yacht. Even if you're not going to be a NEET anymore, I think you're still pretty neat. I I still say I'm a NEET at heart, but I think more more so I'm an artist. I'm an artist. Like I'm not a NEET. I'm an artist. I mean, worthy of being in a rich person's yacht. It's literally just, if you know a rich person, then that's just how it is. Believe it or not, rich people are people too. Like, it's not like they're just. It's not like all of a sudden you lack any human emotion when you reach $1 million. Of course, there are bad character rich people, and I think most of them are pretty fine to be around. I've going to these art exhibition openings. I've talked to some. I think actually like one exhibition opening, I met Jeff Koons. He was there, um, and he's really rich, but he's also an artist. So I guess. But I said hi to him. It was surprising that I actually met him though. I actually met Jeff Koons. The balloon guy? Yes, he makes these giant. Well, he's famous for making these giant ass balloon animals made out of metal, and I think the most expensive one was like it sold for like $50 million, and it's like one of the most expensive artists or one of the most expensive artworks from a living artist ever sold. Which is pretty ridiculous. $50 million for that. Um, to be honest, I think it's pretty cool, but it's just a matter of who you sell it to, I guess. He's made way more than 50 million in singular works. Really? Well, I mean, just like if you total the amount of works he's made way more than $50 million. I'm pretty sure if you search online for Jeff Koons like net worth, they say like 400 million. So he's like one of the richest artists in America, and he was just kind of there. Like there was no invitation or whatever, right? Um, like you could just go to the opening, and I just went in, and he just happened to be there, and like I think I found out afterwards that like the exhibition was actually for like his wife, I think so. Um, Justine Koons, and she was having like her debut art exhibition or something, right? When I was in New York, I was just looking at like any art exhibition I could go to, and it just happened to be there the days I was in New York, and I just kind of walk in, and like I'm just so confused because like I see these people in like fur coats, these like rapper looking ass guys, um, like business bros and stuff, and like just models walking everywhere. I'm like confused. I'm like, damn, this seems like really high profile. And then, you know, this guy talked to me. I think it's like this Jewish guy and this Asian lady. They started talking to me, and they're asking like, oh, if I, it's my, um, if I know who Justine Koons is, and I'm like, I don't know, not really. I mean, I was looking at the art a bit, right? And she's like, oh yeah, she really likes red or something. And he's like, you know, um, she's married to Jeff Koons, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, Jeff Koons. And he's like, yeah, you see Jeff Koons? He's right there. He's right behind you. I'm like, wait, no, wait, he's right behind me. He was literally just right there. And I'm like, okay. What did I just stumble into? And yeah, he was just there. I said hi to him, and he was talking to his friend. Not to be honest, I'm kind of embarrassed, but I didn't like know this guy before. He was talking to his friend like Julian Schnabel, which is also he's also a very famous artist. Um, I didn't want to be rude, but like I was like no way this can be Jeff Koons. So I said hi to him. I said, excuse me, are you Jeff Koons? Because like I can't actually believe what's happening right now. And his friend Julian Schnabel was just like, does my name mean anything to you? And I'm like, I was just trying to thinking. I was just trying to think like at the top of my head, like this is a question that comes up in school or something. Like, is there supposed to be a right answer to this? And I'm like, uh, sorry, no. I kind of laughed, I guess. Uh, wait, the filmmaker? Yeah, Julian Schnabel. Do you think those who are recently rich, new money, or born into wealth, old money? Well, Jeff Koons, I know he's actually new money. Like, he actually was born like middle America or something. He definitely worked his way to his wealth. Um, yeah, but like, yeah, it was kind of weird. He was like, yeah, does my name mean anything to you? I'm like, uh, no, sorry, but it's nice to meet you. And he just kind of like giggled at that. I don't know why. I, I could have felt bad. I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I don't know, maybe should I have known him? That was literally my second time ever going to an art exhibition, right? And like I just run into Jeff Koons and Julian Schnabel, and like they probably thought I was from New York or something. Like I'm normal here, but like there's too many people in the way, so like I couldn't really get any like conversation in, of course. But like, um, yeah, I should have just told them like, no, no, this is like my second art exhibition. Going to the second art. This is the second time going to an art exhibition for me ever, and I'm not even from New York. I'm Canadian, and I was just like, okay. The dude looked like Bill Nye the Science Guy. To be honest, maybe like from a distance, yeah, I can kind of see that. I should have said something like, "Cool, like Elisa Chung, remember the name." If I wanted to be like a complete asshole, I feel I could say something like, he was like, if you said something like, "Does my name mean anything to you?" I could have just flipped it and said like, "Does my name mean anything to you, huh?" And of course, he's gonna say no because he's like he's an old person. He's a boomer, and doing something like that sounds like it would be super narcissistic to say though. Of course, he wouldn't know who I am. Haruto-soma, hisashiburi. Hisashiburi. That's gonna buy your stickers. Super rich people are scary. I don't. Well, like I don't know. I don't. They're probably just normal. Like I wouldn't see them to be much different than I was. If I was in their shoes, I'd literally do the same thing. Like the thing I'm realizing with like kind of trying to be around these people is like they're just like anybody else for the most part. Maybe some of them are like really sheltered, I guess, is like the only thing. But to be fair, there's plenty of like um, not rich people who are also really sheltered. What's your plan going forward regarding growing out of being a NEET? Going to more exhibitions and such? Well, what I plan to do is I want to be an artist. I want to actually paint shit and like, you know, be known for my artwork because I feel like the thing with like YouTube is like it's kind of an identity crisis for me because you're at a crossroads when you want to be successful on YouTube. You kind of have to give away everything else that you want to be to to make it on YouTube. It's like, do you want to be a YouTuber or do you want to be an artist? Like I could definitely go the draw with Jazza route, right? And just be more like a YouTuber artist, but I don't want that. I feel like for me, I think it's more important if I'm creating stuff that's more like artistic instead of just entertainment. It's like, no offense to Jazza, but like I would say like his content is more content than it is art. I mean, like it's definitely nice that he's teaching people, how to paint and like he's introducing, lots of like kids or like people who just never painted before to painting. And I think that's great, but I think for me, doing something like that would just kill me because I wouldn't feel like I get to fully express myself. Like I'm not creatively fulfilled in that way, right? Um, the problem with YouTube is you have to go the full Joji to get out of it. I mean, he did a pretty good job with it, right? I can see that you really love art more than being a yeah. Like I love painting, and I've always loved making art, and I've always have since I was a child. It's just something that's always stuck with me, right? And to be fair, like the whole branding thing I've done with like being a NEET online, that's kind of an art form in and of itself. But I feel like the way YouTube is, it's like it's so limiting because everything's calculated by algorithms. Nothing's very human on YouTube, and you could say like, just do the algorithm, bro. But like, I don't just want to think about numbers on a screen, because that makes me feel bad, right? It's not like, I guess I could do it, right? But it's not creatively fulfilling. I don't want to appeal to some robot. Uh, and I want to do something, different that's not going to just be for monetary value. Um, you'd end up like iDubbbz if you're not careful. The goal is definitely the Joji way out. Well, it's because I don't think iDubbbz hasn't really done anything outside of YouTube, though. That's the issue. But yeah, I definitely, like, what I want to be is I don't want to be a YouTuber who does art. I want to be an artist who has a YouTube account, right? So, and to be honest, it's more fun. It's like you get to talk to people and stuff and like actually go to places, travel. That seems more appealing to me than YouTube, where you sit in front of a camera all day. I mean, to be fair, it's like, you know, there's a lot of different people in like your chats, and it's nice to see the comments, but really, like, when the camera's not on, I'm really lonely, and it just kind of sucks when it feels like you don't have a life outside of like the computer screen. It makes me feel like some sort of like totem, some sort of like object of worship. Uh, which I don't know. If you guys want to worship me, sure, fuck it. I'll be God. You know? Spring it. This is my cult, see? Guys, I can start my own art movement. I can start my own art movement. I'll have a cult for myself. And I am not religious. What should we call it? I don't know. I could start an art movement, right? I had this idea, right? I know in the art world, it's kind of frowned upon to just like make your own art movement just cause. But you know what? Like, fuck those guys. I'm gonna make my own art movement. I'm gonna start my own religion, and yeah, and we're gonna make beautiful art, right? We're gonna make the craziest artwork, and it's gonna be about people who were born and raised purely on the internet, and we can make art related to that. And we kind of just build off of each other, and we try to, you know, do art exhibitions, get into the art world together. That would be cool. I'd be totally down to do my own art movement. That's devious. And I'm God, by the way. I'm God. Wait a minute. Making art requires effort. Well, guess what, guys? You're not NEETs anymore. You're artists. So, yeah, that's part of your job. You guys are getting into the art world whether you not like it or not. It would be cool. It would be cool. You know, there was like, what is this one artist? I'm brain farting right now, I'm sorry. What is he? Matthew, aka Orange Jesus, was doing like some artworks that were like similar to his. He made the squares. He made the. I know his work. I know his name, but like I'm just brain farting right now. But he makes the squares. You know, the squares with the primary colors, and like he only draws squares. That guy, you know, that guy, he actually tried to make his own like kind of religion. He found his religion in drawing squares, and he was kind of like a nutcase. But to be fair, I'm kind of a nutcase too, so like relatable. No, not David Rothko. He literally just made squares. Mondiat. Pierre Mondiat, that was his name. Pierre Mondiat, that guy. I think like his story or something was like he was stuck in sort of like some like artists guild or something because the war happened, so he's kind of like stuck somewhere. Where was he? Like I don't know, Netherlands or something. And he was forced to just like draw with these people, and he like tried to start like his own religion, and like for some reason like the squares were like related to his like own religion they started, uh and you know you like that was just like his art movement, and he got famous for that, and I thought that was pretty cool. Or use art as a money laundering scheme like most billionaires. I mean, but I'm not a billionaire, so like so it's not for me. And based and shape pilled. But literally his whole thing was just like drawing squares, and like he just got really good at drawing squares. Uh he perfected black lines, squares, and primary colors. And like that was his whole thing. Um and to him that was like his religion. That was like just how he expressed himself. And I think that's like really cool. Was his name Picasso? No. Lamau perfected the third game. No, I think the guy was clearly autistic. Like, the guy was probably autistic. Like, almost certainly he was autistic. There was no way you can do, like, squares and primary colors for, like, 35 years and not be autistic. Sounds silly, but expression takes many forms. It's true. Thank you for the $5, Calm Rivers. Calm Ivers. Calm Ivers. Thank you. You're contributing to the cause, this art movement. Chill guy with squares. I don't know. Like, the guy's from the 1800s, so there's no way I could know what he's like. But I'd imagine he wouldn't be a chill guy if he's like kind of autistic. Is this grandparents' house still? Yeah, I've kind of converted the basement into like my art studio, and I've just made a lot of paintings. Yeah, I just make a lot of paintings now, and I experiment. Like this one I'm working on as well too. This one's like it's an anime. It's a schoolgirl with a minigun or machine gun, cause she's gonna kill you. And I thought it was just kind of funny, so I painted. Not finished painting it, but yeah. I also bought a bunch of wood from the wood store, just from the wood store, and I got a lot of these pieces. So I'm gonna make my own canvas frame. I need to like cut these and stuff, and yeah, a lot of these projects cost a lot of money. So even just like a tube of paint, like for the good quality stuff is like a bare minimum like $20. Pretty expensive. Wood store? You mean forest? No, I'm talking about the wood store. Do you not know the wood store? Freaking dumbass, not knowing the wood store. Yeah, so I got this piece of poplar wood, and it's very sturdy. It sounds very nice when you hit it. Yeah, sounds amazing. And I'm just gonna make a giant canvas out of it because I actually found out that if I get the wood from the wood store here, they actually have really good prices, and I can basically make as big of a canvas as I want for like a fraction of the cost it would cost to actually buy that canvas. Uh, these are 5-foot poles, or 5-foot planks, which is 60 inches. If I were to get like a 60-inch canvas, like square, it would cost me over $200. But, or I could just make my own for like $60 and it's much cheaper. It just takes a bit of labor, but to be honest, I think people who are buying the work, they kind of appreciate the sort of like, I guess, imperfect look. What else did I get from? I got this from the wood store. I got a giant block of wood to carve Buddha statues out of. My mom bought a whole roll of canvas and just builds them. Yeah, I have a roll of canvas. I got some basswood here too. It sounds really nice. Basswood ASMR. But I'm gonna carve like little Buddha statues out of that. And then I have this giant roll of canvas here. Guys, you know how much this costed? This costed like $270. But this is like 8 yards of canvas. Of like premium, triple premium canvas. I think it's like 17-gram weight or something. So it's pretty thick. This is for the bigger boys, the big guns. And it's heavy as, it's super heavy. Yeah, so, yeah, I kind of need money for these projects. I need to sell some paintings to get more money for these projects. I don't know, maybe if I get like a really big project, maybe I'll have like some sort of like donation goal or something. If I want to make some like stupid big sculpture, if I make some schematics for like some stupid thing, like I want to make a giant John Cena shrine, or I don't know, something stupid, right? I'll just come up with some dumb idea. And if I just get like a goal and like people pitch into this stupid design, and I'll attach like a concept art to it or something, right? And I'll get the price for it. If a bunch of people pitch in and I just make it on stream, I feel like that would be kind of cool. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs, Sariel. Sounds awesome. Heck yeah, bro. It would be cool. Like, I had to come up with some interesting ideas. But it'll definitely help me, actually. It would definitely help me get into the art world. Because when it comes to, like, making these exhibitions or whatever, capital is a big deal. So if you have bigger canvases, bigger projects than other people, it makes you stand out. So it would definitely be a big help. Have you sold any paintings? Yes, actually I have. I sold paintings as a teenager, and like I sold drawings even when I was like in middle school. Ask your buddy Jeff and Schnovel to help out. I don't really know them. I just met them. They're not my friends. Are you trying to get your art into an exhibit? Yes. Bigger equals better? Yeah, to some extent, yes. Because, like, you kind of need to make, like, big stuff to stand out. That's just how it works sometimes. It's how it works on YouTube. That's how it works in the art world as well. I mean, how, like, you look at Jeff Koons, you know how he got so big? He made a giant fucking balloon animal. It's like, how tall was that? I think, it's like, how how many feet was that? Maybe like 50 foot tall or something. Wait, have you been active on other platforms? I've been missing out on content. I was active on Instagram. And someone saw, yeah, and thought, yeah, that would look good in my front yard. Unironically, somebody probably did unironically think that. Or it could have just been like a business bought it. Because, like, the only people who would have $50 million just laying around would be like businesses. Probably some guy who like runs like what like some military complex company, or military contracts. I don't know, something that's like ridiculous, like money. Oh crap, my Mac is gonna die. I need a charger. I need a charger. Yep, thank you. Okay. BlackRock owns everything, of course. Oh, thank you for the $10. Sariel. You should do Bob Ross-esque videos about painting. I was thinking of making like contemporary art videos, like into shorts. I've kind of been bored with like doing like anime-ish drawings, especially because like everybody's already doing it on YouTube. I want to do something that nobody's done before. So like I want to make videos about how to paint like some weird style that I just came up with off the top of my head. I'll put some like rules to it or whatever, right? And I'll just like do that as a video, and like it's kind of like a tutorial, and I'll put like some vlogs or something, like sort of vlog-ish shorts. Because I feel like shorts are easier on me because they don't take nearly as long to make as like a full-on video. So it also fits a lot better with like my personality on YouTube, that I'll just be able to like do things, and I can just show what I'm doing, and like I don't have to waste people's time, because like I don't know, people just have short attention spans. Would be a solid niche. Are you interested in 3D printing, like making figures and stuff? Yeah, I would be interested, but like I just already have a lot of things right now. I thought of getting like the Elegoo, like Mars thing, to like design figurines or something, but it's just like I already have a lot of things, and I also don't want to deal with the toxic fumes that come from 3D printing that stuff. So that could be saved for like another time, maybe when I have like my own studio with like proper ventilation. Did you ever write first about what you want to paint? I actually have a little bit. Like I had some ideas for things about like paintings, and having like a brief description of it, of like the idea I was going for. Um, I just haven't done it a lot yet. Have you thought about doing public art installations? I'd be up for whatever. If I have, like, if the opportunity comes, I just want to do art exhibition, like as many art exhibitions as possible. And I want to go to, like, the biggest gallery I can. And just kind of, and just work my way from there and then make it into the MoMA. And, like, yeah. I feel like writing helps a lot understand what I truly want to represent, and it's so quick. Yeah, it definitely helps. Like when you have like more of an idea from the beginning, because I feel like a lot of art is like trying to find this like vague feeling and trying to put it into words. You take those words, you turn it into artwork, and then you take that artwork and you turn it into a theme, and then you take that theme, you turn it into a brand. Yeah. So, but like that's just that's how the job is, right? It comes with just like doing it a lot. Going to move out of Ottawa to go live in a city with more art opportunities. Well, I'm gonna move to Tokyo first of all, or just like Tokyo or Osaka, and I was thinking of living in New York for like a couple months. Yeah, if I'm like in New York for a couple months, that would be cool. Cause I wanna see more of like the art scene there and like meet more people. Uh, Once I meet more people, I can go to Japan and meet people in Japan. I know like there's this one guy on Instagram, uh, this one artist on Instagram that he like comments on my stuff sometimes. Kind of think I think it's kind of interesting. His name is Toshiyuki, Enoki Toshiyuki, and he makes like some Nihonga style artworks with like Renaissance influence. Um, and it looks pretty cool. So I don't know, maybe I'll meet that guy in Japan if I get the time. When I was at the Killers concert, I told him about the Killers. He really likes the Killers, and he's been listening to the Killers after I told him. Cost of living though is pretty crazy in that state. You know what's the crazy thing is that I realized it was actually cheaper to live in New York than like where I was living before, which is like absolutely insane to me. Because like I was actually looking at the prices of what it would cost to live in New York. And so when I was in New York, I was looking at places, right? And it was like something, it was still expensive, of course. It's like 1,300 for like a 1 or 2 bedroom or something. Which is like, yeah, it's still expensive, but it was cheaper than what was going on where I was living. And I'm like nowhere close to even like the city. The place I was looking at was in Brooklyn. And it was like a pretty good looking apartment. In New York you get pet rats. You know the funny thing is I never actually seen like a pizza rat in New York. I've seen them in Washington, but never New York. Yeah. Which part in Brooklyn? I don't know. Probably like North Brooklyn. I don't know New York that much. Uh, New York sounds about the same as Chicago rent, from what it seems like, right? Because like I've noticed is that on the statistics, Toronto prices are about the same as New York prices. But what I've noticed about New York is that there's a lot more variation in prices. So like you get really high highs and then really low lows. Whereas in Toronto, there's like a bare minimum price you have to pay for just like anything, and then it just goes higher from there. Uh, which is it's interesting that like New York is like that though. I didn't realize. I didn't realize it. I saw rats on the F train last month, but they stay on the tracks. It's so cool. Really, jeez. Uh, you've never seen Master Splinter, bro? You're missing out. Long time no see, Lana. Glad you're not dead. I had a professor that worked for Jeff Koons. That's interesting. I heard he has like a lot of assistants that kind of just like paint his paintings for him. Essentially, I think like I looked at like his process. I thought it was kind of interesting. Is that like from what it seems like from I saw is like Jeff Koons. He's more like a business person. I mean, even if you when I saw him, right, he just wears he doesn't wear anything like weird like an artist generally does. He just wears like a suit and tie like everybody else that's not an artist. And he kind of just makes his stuff in like Photoshop or something or like Adobe Illustrator or something like that. And then I think he gets like a bunch of assistants to like meticulously like copy the artwork onto a canvas with the correct colors and stuff like that. Um, they take their time with it because they're very meticulous with it. And then for like his sculptures, I think he gets like some what is it, some manufacturers to help him with like building the statues, but like it's all his sort of idea, his planning. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Jeff Koons made a sculpture of flowers in memory of victims of terrorist attacks in Paris, and it looks like a bunch of buttholes. I haven't seen that artwork. I noticed some of his artworks are kind of interesting looking. Welcome back. But like, yeah, I thought like Jeff Koons' like work process is interesting. Uh, I guess it's like Takashi Murakami, but Takashi Murakami he took inspiration from Jeff Koons, so I guess it makes sense. Um, but for like Takashi Murakami, he's also got like a meticulous structure where he everything's like hyper organized. He's basically running like a business, like a factory, right? And he has these people trying to like replicate these things he made in like Illustrator. And this that's just how they do it. And I thought it was kind of cool, especially compared to like some other artists. I guess you have what other artists are if you like Kusama Yayoi or like Yoshitomo Nara, which are artists I really like. Um, or I guess even like what is it, Peter Doig. They just kind of they just work by themselves. But the issue with their work is that they just don't produce enough. So they get higher prices, but because their stuff is more rare, but they just have no they don't have nearly as much output, so they're not nearly as wealthy. But it doesn't mean their art is bad, of course. Obviously, money's not a good indicator of like influence or anything. But saw recently that Louis Vuitton and Murakami collab. Yeah, that's been a while. Have been seeing the stories on Insta of you going to a lot of galleries. It was really cool to see you surrounded by so much art. Yeah, it was really eye opening to go to New York and like there's so much art in New York. Um, like that's a nice thing about like New York is that when I go there, I'm like, yes, this is a cultured city. I get like there is a lot of stuff going on here. Like if you want art, New York has all the art. Like you have art for days in New York, right? It's amazing. And you kind of go there, you can go like gallery to gallery. There's like this one street, I forgot what it's called, like 17th Street or something, where you just have like so many galleries down the whole road. It's by the what is it, the walkway. Uh, I don't know what the walkway is called. Um, but it's like, yeah, and you can just kind of like go down that street, and it's sort of just like uh, there's like a lot of um, art galleries there. You could just go there the whole day and just look at a bunch of artworks. And there's some places that sell more like I guess like middle class, upper middle class kind of artworks. Uh, and then there's other ones where it just sells like historical art, which means like artists artwork from artists that are dead. And I thought that was just really eye opening to see that, because it made me feel like really motivated to paint, because like there's actually a culture for it, and there's actually people doing it, and there's people passionate about it, about something that I've always felt lonely doing my whole life. You know, like 'cause, like in Ottawa, there's not really like nearly an art like the same art culture here. There's like you maybe have like some impressionist painters, and like a lot of it is like really political, and it just makes it not fun. You know, like I don't like the idea of going into art and then forced to be a political mouthpiece. You know, I'd rather just kind of do something that like, people like, right? As long as I can find an audience for it. But I don't like the art in Canada where it's a lot of the artists, they get their money from government funds. So they have to appeal to the government in some way, so their artwork ends up being like super political, and I just don't like that. I think it's really stupid and like gross. Um, and it's just not fun to look at. Like you don't get interesting artworks with it. Like the thing is, like when I went to, was it the AGO Art Gallery of Ontario? Uh, it's like I think I went to like an art bash in Toronto, right? There's like a lot of people that liked art, but they're not like super into art there. Um, and I just noticed that even the people that are going to these events for art, people who are interested in art, aren't even interested in the art for the most part. I thought that was kind of funny, because because a lot of the art at the AGO is kind of political, um, and like nobody really cares. Like most people don't really care about it. I thought that was kind of interesting to see. From what I've noticed with these places, right, is that the people going to the art events don't care about the art events as much, but they care about it like for the social aspect, which is interesting to see. Because like you have a lot of these people who don't know what the art means. They don't care what the art means, but they're just talking to their buddies, and it's like something to do. And like maybe the artwork brings up like a couple topics, like, oh, what does it mean, right? Um, and then, but like in the end, they're just having a good time, just like having some beer, you know. It's like it's chill. Or some people, they might go talk to the artist, right? The artist will actually know what the meaning of the artwork is. And, some people enjoy, just talking to the artist, right? I find it a little bit awkward to talk to the artist because there's usually like a lot of people trying to talk to them at once. So I feel like I'm barging in if I try to. So I don't know. But like, it's just a chill event, I guess, if you're like a boomer. For me, it's like as a young person, I have no freaking idea what to do at these events. So like, yeah. Art can bring people together. Yeah, definitely. Like even if the art like doesn't have a meaning, and it's just like super like I don't know, it's just like provocative for the sake of provocative. It gets a conversation going with some people, and I feel like that's the important part of it. It from what it seems, from what I was looking at, right? And you know, I'll be awkwardly trying to make sense on what the art is by saying my thoughts. I mean, like, that, I feel like that's kind of like the point at these like art events, is that like you talk about, like, you try to puzzle at it, right? And like somebody else tries to puzzle at it, and then you find like this weird, you might think one thing, the other person thinks another thing, right? But then you talk about it and you like try to like work it out, but then you start a conversation about it. So like that was kind of the point of the artwork, right? Even though it's like, what I when I went to the Nobutaka Aozaki art exhibit, he had like, what is it? He put some like cans or like some like chip bags and like microwaves to like shrivel them up. And it's supposed to be like some art exhibit about how the way we treat disposable things, and like how our life revolves around like consumerism, something like that. Um, the artworks had no description on them, of course, because that's just how it usually is. Because you're just supposed to ask the artist what it means, right? And they'll give you like some vague explanation. Um, but most of the people, they weren't even looking at the art. They like, maybe they look at the art for a bit and then they ponder, and then they come up with some like lukewarm like take. But there's other guy who's like also has a lukewarm take, but like they have a conversation about it, and like, well, your art did influence somebody to like do something, so that, I guess it served its purpose. That's part of its value. How do you feel about that banana art piece? I mean, isn't the point of it is to be provocative? Like, it's literally supposed to be a meme. Like, isn't it? I think for people on the internet to make sense of artworks, right? Think of artworks like memes. I mean, for example, like, why was E so popular? E with Lord Farquaad Markiplier. Like, people look at that, and they're just like, why are like these people on the internet just so obsessed with Lord Farquaad with the weird face and sing E. It made more impact than any other art piece. Unironically, in some way, yeah. and and like, like, for the older people that are interested in the artworks, they could say the same thing about like memes. Like, what's the meaning of it? Uh, and I think like at a certain point, it's just to be provocative for the sake of provocative, and like the fact that people are talking about it, that kind of like proves like it proves its existence, right? Sometimes someone else's interpretation of the art has more substance than the art themselves. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what like you see of like Andy Warhol. I think like, if you guys ever actually see like any interviews that Andy Warhol has, which I think is interesting, is like, he never has anything to say. Like, he's always like blank. Bro, like, it almost feels like bro doesn't have a thought in his head. But like the people talking about his art, they, you know, they talk about it, and it gets conversations going, right? So I mean, it served its purpose. I think it was because like Andy Warhol, when he was like, he got shot. After he got shot, um, he was like hopped up on benzos, so he was always on drugs because of like some. He was prescribed just drugs, uh, because he got shot, right? And so when he was on interviews, he was actually just like he was like kind of high, just because of his medications, and yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. That's why he had nothing to say. listening to his audiobook. Also, hi. Hello, Michael London. Yeah, I don't know. It's like for some reason a lot of artists, they're just high. They're just on drugs. For some reason. Can you do a live stream of you painting sometime? Yeah, I could do that. Shout out jazz musicians in the 60s. Art critics are the depth of art. I think the banana thing was like the moment where everybody kind of understood the scam of this contemporary art. I mean, it kind of served its purpose though, right? The point, like the fact that it's that like people are like complaining about it, isn't that like the point of it? It was a banana that was duct tape. It's like a Marcel Duchamp style artwork where it's like Marcel Duchamp in like the 1900s, early 1900s. Uh, he put a urinal on display, and that was like art. And then it was like provocative because people were just like, "This isn't art; it's a urinal." So he made this whole thing just turning things that aren't supposed to be art into art, and like, so like the point of the artwork became like the point of the art is that it's not art. And that was kind of the idea, that it's just like the point of it is that it's just like you think just like why? It's like making fucking E and Lord Farquaad. Like why? Why is this a meme? Just Lord Farquaad Markiplier saying E. But like it got people talking about it, so that's sort of the point. Artists have made that point before, like Duchamp, yes, so why do it again? I don't know, because it keeps getting reactions, right? I feel like people think too highly of what art's supposed to be. Like it's literally just marketing. Like people try to think there's like some deeper meaning to like every artwork, and it's all special, and every artist is like a genius and like special in every way. Nobody's freaking special. You're not special. You're a fucking loser watching my stream. I'm a fucking loser doing art and like streaming, and everybody's just stupid, and like everybody's trying to like bamboozle everybody. So like what makes artists any different? uh God bless you, Elisa. I pray you will find the right path to pursue your art career. Always remember that Jesus Christ loves you so much and that he wants a relationship with you. You just need to repent and believe in him. Thank you for the $20. I'm not Christian though, but thank you. Thank the Lord. Sometimes it sucks to be a loser though. What a time to join the stream and be called a loser 10 seconds. It's a classic Elisa Chung stream. I don't know, I don't know what you want. As they say, sucks to suck. That was actually €20, not $20. Yeah, just shut up, okay? Shut up. If I wanted to be called a loser, I'd just talk to my dad. Yo, same. Yeah. Art's fucking dumb. And like, I don't know, I feel like that makes it more fun, to be honest. Like, I don't I don't know, this is maybe like personal to me, but like I don't like the idea that if I'm painting it has to be like some great thing that like uh appeals to like the gods, or like I'm creating something. I have the hands of like God, and like I'm creating something so deep that it's gonna change society forever. Like sometimes I just want to paint boobs because like I don't. It's not that deep, and like at a certain point, it's just like, does it get a reaction? Do people like it? Some people like it, some people don't like it. Is it controversial, or like is it provocative in some way? Uh, I think as long as people are talking about it and I make money at the end of the day, then that's all that really matters for me, at least. That was 20 pounds, either 20 euros. Typing was high AF. Thank you for the 20 euros. Female moist critical content is exceptional. Thank you. No, maybe, guys, what I should do? I should make moist critical style videos, but talking about artwork, like contemporary art. But I'll just do that and like do contemporary art reviews, and it'll be kind of funny. And then I'll just like insert like my poop fart jokes like moist critical does, and like that's just like my thing. The art situation. You should do. I should step it up a notch. I should copy literally every single one of Moist Critical's titles, but change it to contemporary art, just to like troll him. And I like, I'll literally, I'll mimic Moist Critical's voice and like try to mimic exactly how he talks. I'd be like, let's fucking go. Come on, baby, this is what I've been waiting for. Oh, hi guys, we're going to see this bozo's artwork. What gripes ruffles my feathers more than shitty artwork. It was nothing better than a poop fart artwork. This one's literally basically shit on a canvas. This one, someone farted on the canvas. You're a bad Charlie impersonator because you actually have opinions on things. A poop ambush. No, the Moist Critical impressions are funny. The poop fart jokes. No, just like it's funny. I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head like how it would look like, like for example, just like Moist Critical, trying to review like Basquiat's, like Jean-Michel Basquiat's art. Like, it's nothing better than a gang like a straight up G in the art world. I'm tired of seeing these poop fart artists, these poopy farty artists, but God. I gotta love a meme like Jean-Michel Basquiat. Let's put this bad boy onto the NEET meter. Yeah, this was Charlie if he decided to paint in an alternate universe. He decided to paint instead of playing video games and like making commentary on like internet news. Got a backwards cap. I don't have a backwards cap. Unfortunately, I don't wear hats. Did you make that scripture on the table? What do you mean scripture? I don't have scriptures. Do you mean this? This isn't scriptures. This is a thought-provoking book about colors. You know what this book is? It's literally a book. This is one of my favorite books. It's a book of colors. Yes. You see all these colors? These are colors. Yep, those are colors, guys. Do you see that? Colors. Yes. Yes, these are colors. Yeah, they're colors. I don't know what to say about it. Wow, I love colors. Wow. Thank you for the $50. I'm just gonna call them all dollars because I don't care. Thank you, Mike Peterson, for the $50. We're talking about the giant green man on the table. Oh yeah. It's my anatomy, bro. I use this for anatomy reference. So this side he's got no skin, and this side he has skin. You can see all the muscles here, so it makes it easier to draw. He's also kind of caked up. Bro is caked. I also got Body Chan. I use this for poses. So she's pretty configurable. Like you can just do this, and especially when I'm drawing comics, like this helps me. It helps me draw like weird poses. Sometimes there's poses with like weird perspective or whatever, right? Down bad for a sculpture. For most laws of nature abiding by God physics. Where you get that? I got it online. I wanted to get one for a while, but they're pretty expensive, so I didn't get one. But I recently got one, so. This one looks like Hibukake all over the canvas. Straight up nutted all over the canvas. Accurate. You like my moist critical impression? They're called Donkey Kong coins. Thank you for the Donkey Kong coins. Can I get like Donkey Kong bongos with that? That was a solid Charlie, but Jackson Pollock. To be honest, for me, I don't really like Jackson Pollock's art that much. Some people are interested in it, but I don't know. It's too like messy for me. Like I think the idea, because it was supposed to be like action painting or whatever they call it. I feel like once you get rid of the Jackson Pollock part, and he's like pretty dead now. Pretty dead for like a while. It's kind of lost its like context, you know? Because the point of Jackson Pollock was that like what makes the artwork interesting is that it brings like a conversation about how you make the artwork is more important than what the artwork actually is. But like he's dead, so like I never got to see how he made the artwork. so like it doesn't matter to me. And like when I look at the artwork, it just seems like kind of like a mess of just like bukake. He bukake all over the painting, and he nutted. He straight up nutted all over it. No, yeah. Guys probably know about Jackson Pollock's CIA kind of old news. Yeah, I heard like he's got like CIA funding in his art. Jackson Gunick. But like I don't know, like it doesn't really look that interesting once you get rid of the context like visually. So I feel like his work doesn't really stand the test of time. I guess another thing I heard was that some of his artworks are kind of like falling apart because he like used like he made like homemade gesso, and the mixture for homemade gesso isn't stable. So you actually have like cracking and stuff in his paintings. So yeah. I have money today, so here, what's your opinion on Warhol? To be honest, I kind of dig Warhol. I like his stuff. Um, he's also seems like a pretty interesting guy, not gonna lie. And and you and you Goodall. uh, he's just like seems like an interesting person to like read about, right? And his artwork, like I feel like the visual quality of his artwork isn't that interesting, but like in context, like he basically started the pop art movement, right? So he's like the originator of the pop art movement, and like since the pop art movement, there hasn't really been like a major art movement, you know. Even nowadays, there's still pop art. It's so prevalent since Andy Warhol, and like there hasn't been anything like as big since. So like I think that's pretty like impressive, right? I guess you got like Andy Warhol, like similar artists like Roy Lichtenstein. Uh, you get that kind of pop art stuff, right? Fair enough. He is more interesting than his artworks. Yeah, like unironically though, like but that was kind of like his thing though. Like Andy Warhol, he didn't really give a shit about like his artworks that much. Um, you know, like even the Campbell's Soup artworks that Andy Warhol like made. What is it? You know those Campbell's Soup artworks he's so famous for. When he actually made that exhibition for them, he actually sold nothing. He made no money off of that exhibition. Like absolutely nothing. Uh, and then I think afterwards, like I forgot who actually bought the artworks. It was something like Larry Gagosian or something, like some really famous art dealer like bought them to like for cheap. He bought the whole set of them for like 1,000 or something, and for like $1,000. And then he's just been famous for them ever since. Uh, I like the video of Warhol eating a hamburger. It's a vibe. Like I like Andy Warhol not necessarily because of his art per se, but like because he's like a character. You know, he's like the original art celebrity. In a way, like I don't want to visual like I don't want my artwork to visually look like Andy Warhol's artwork, but he's a vibe. Like I want to be like Andy Warhol as a person, cause cause like the guy the guy's like a businessman. He doesn't give a shit. He just kind of does his thing. He never he doesn't care what people think, and he just says stuff, and like he's like the celebrity artist, and he's really good at that. uh Thank you for the 50 Donkey Kong dollars, Mike Peterson. one USD is about 7 Donkey Kong coins. Will take the you will take the Donkey Kong coin. Yeah, sure, thank you. Ain't no way. Why is Pablo Picasso so famous? His art is bad. Pablo Picasso, he's a savant. Like, bro, did you, if you guys didn't know this, Pablo Picasso, before he made kind of abstract or cubist artworks, he painted realistically as a child. Bro could paint like the Renaissance painters at like 14, right? So, you know, like his art being bad, it's not because he can't paint, it's because he chose it to be that way on purpose. Wasn't that the result of brain going woo? No, I don't think so. I think he just got bored of realism, to be honest. Because I think with like, because like Pablo Picasso, he was born like in the 1800s and he died in the 1970s. So he's born in the late 1800s. Most of his influence comes from the early 1900s, and he died in the 1970s. And I think like when he was born, right, he was born in like to a family where his father was like a art professor, and he learned a lot of stuff from like his father, and so his father taught him, and he was like really good from like a really young age. He was super good at realism. Like he could basically paint like Renee or whatever from like the age of like 14. And then after that, I think he just got bored of like painting realistically. So I think he started with like flower paintings. They had like his blue period or whatever. And he had made like cubism or something to like be weird, you know, and you know, it just caught on, and he was just kind of there at the right time, where art was going from like impressionist to like abstract, and like he kind of basically, there was so much to explore in like the art world, and he just produced so much art. I think Picasso like made a total of like 50,000 artworks in his lifetime, if I recall correctly. But that includes like drawings, paintings, or whatever. I think he's only made like 13,000 paintings, for drawings and stuff. It's like everything included, like sculptures, drawings. It's like 50,000. Like it's ridiculous the amount of stuff, like his output. Uh, and the crazy thing with him is that he didn't even have like he didn't he didn't have a factory. He just did it himself. Like he was just built different, right? I saw like Picasso paintings when I went to the MoMA in New York. I guess to be fair, like at the time, you know, abstract art was like so new that like you can kind of just make a painting in a day and it would sell. Because from what it looks like, of like Picasso's like later paintings, is that he took a day at most to make these paintings, right? And they just sell because like it's a new genre of painting that he basically invented. And that's why he's so successful, you know. I yeah, he was just like kind of like right place, right time. What do you mean factory? Like legit factories that mass produce art? No, like I mean like art factories like Andy Warhol had, or like what Jeff Koons has, or like Takashi Murakami, right? Picasso, he was just built different. He had like insane output, but he just painted everything himself. He didn't have assistants. I think he had like one assistant, but like they just stretched canvases or whatever, right? Pablo Picasso, he was just built different. But like, yeah, I think like the reason why he was so successful is because he was just born in the right time to be an artist, and also not just to be an artist, but to be a prodigy artist. Brother was fueled off of anger and depression. When he can't paint pregnant Mario. Yeah, Takashi is shady. What's shady about Takashi? I don't know. I never met Takashi. I guess he runs like he essentially runs a factory, like an art factory. Uh I miss you, dude. Time to touch the grass so hard. Funny enough, uh you're not the first person I heard saying about that, about art and being born at the right time. I mean, well, like timing plays a big factor in like your success, right? Like for example, right? I'm pretty sure one of the best times to ever be born in like nine in or one of the best times to be born in America. No, the best time to be born in America as of recent is 1955. If you were born in 1955, there's like multiple billionaires and multiple like billionaire artists that share that exact same birth date. Or not billionaire artists, like millionaire artists. Like some of the richest artists are born in 1955 that are currently alive. Uh, some of the richest billionaires are born in 1955 as well. Like, ironically, timing makes a big difference uh, of just like your success. And like, yeah, that's just how it goes. Like, you can just be unlucky. And yeah, like I've been doing like some research recently into just like artists and like when they're born and stuff. I noticed there's like some certain time periods like for the living art, like the super successful living artists, like blue chip artists. Um, yeah, I've noticed there's a time during like 1920, 1930, like some people 1930, but mainly born in 1920, where there's a few like famous artists. Like I guess Yayoi Kusama is one. What else? Edward Ruscha, I think his name. Jasper Johns, I think. Something is like that. And those artists were born in like the 1920s to 30s. And then, you know, artists born in the 1940s, uh, the late 1930s to the early 1940s, or late 1930s to 1940s up until the early 1950s, it's just blank. There's no famous artists that are born in that time period, which I think is kind of interesting. And then most of the famous artists now are born within 15 years apart, which is like not around 1954 to 1954 to 1965 or something like that. Maybe, yeah, around that. And like for example, John Curran, for example, he's the richest living artist, born 1962. Takashi Murakami, who is also born 1962. Uh, some other artists, I forgot their birth dates, but there's some that are like born 1955, um, something like that. You know, and then after that, like after the 1960s or 70s, I think the last one that's like really big is what is it? Uh, I'm brain farting. I guess the last big artist who was born, he's a Gen Xer, I guess is Cause, right? And then before that, you have what is it? The Sharks. What, David Hockney or something? David Hawk. Wait. Yeah, David. No, not David Hockney. David Hockney was born in like the 1920s, I think. Sharks. What is it? Oh, Damien Hirst. That's what it was. Yeah, Damien Hirst. Right? So, Damien Hirst was like the latest one out of those, and he was part of like the Young British Artist movement. But after that, you don't really see any like major artists. It could also just be because they're too young. But like, I don't know. There's like this big drop off right after like the 1960s of just like artists. Not sure why, but like, I don't know. I just like kind of did my research because I was curious, and I just noticed that was like a thing. Yeah, the dot guy is also the Damien Hirst. Damien style apartment is crazy. You mean just dots? If you were not here in the present, you wouldn't be who you are now, and you wouldn't be making the unique art you're making now. I mean, yeah, I mean that's the point of being an artist, right? Like I make art about, being born in the time I'm born. Of course, like my art is influenced by the stuff around me and the kind of life I live. And I think a lot of people my age can like relate to it, right? Thank you for the 500 Argentinian dollars. Coffee bender. Born born to be born during the Renaissance and have a ninja turtle named after me forces to get late to watch Elisa Summer Rambling. I swear physical medium will make a comeback. History repeats itself. Well, like, from what I've seen when you go to these, like, art exhibitions, there seems to be actually quite a few artists from 1995. So they're just turning 30 now. But, like, I've noticed, like, when I see, like, the younger artists, they all seem to be born, like, 1994, 1995. Which is kind of cool. They're pretty young. Uh, they're like, but yeah, I see them in some of the galleries in New York. But I just noticed there's like certain dates that keep popping up. Modern art is an elaborate troll. Yeah, honestly. Curator here. The professional art world is rigged. The best thing you can do is what you're doing now. Yeah, I mean, I know. I kind of determined that after going to New York. I guess what I learned is that if you want to, like, get places in the art world, you just gotta know people, which is what I'm doing now. So, yeah. where do you where do you curate? Where do you curate though? Does it pay to be an artist, like, for a living? I don't know, like, depends on how much you sell your art and who you're selling it to. If you're selling, like, what I think is that if you're selling artwork to people that don't have money, you're going to the wrong people. If you're doing something that's like takes your time, you know, and you're selling it for like under $100 at the bare minimum, for like you're just going to the wrong place to sell your artwork, because you're just not going to make your money. You're not going to make good money, and the people that pay those prices just aren't very good clients either. Uh, so funny. My career is one where it barely matters who you know, only that you get results. It really depends on the career path you're going, right? Like, so if you have a very objectives based career, then it's less networking is required. But for something more subjective like art, where like really like the art is completely subjective. You can convince someone that a banana is like the greatest artwork of all time. I mean, they literally did it, right? Uh, you know, like you could be replaced with like anybody else. It's just a matter of who the galleries want to promote. Uh, so it's like the more subjective something is, the more connections you need. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get connections, trying to make friends. I'm not just doing it for connections. Like I do have a genuine interest in these people, but like I'm trying to go out of my way to actually reach out to these people rather than just like staying home and like doing nothing or whatever, right? Um, like one of my friends, I guess now, uh, I've met him enough. I feel like I consider him a friend. His name is Isaac Raymond, a Canadian technological artist. He makes some pretty cool stuff with like AI. You actually, to be honest, like I showed my friends or one of my friends like his stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen it on Instagram before." Wait, that was pretty cool. Um, is that a Jojo reference? Yeah, but like, you know, like I have a genuine interest in like making art friends and stuff, especially because like I'm kind of lonely sometimes, and I feel like I need people who like share my kind of interests. But like I meet some interesting people. This guy I know, Isaac Raymond. He makes really cool like AI art, right? I think he has like this one project where he showed at the AGO in Toronto. And it's like it scans your brain and it makes art based off of your brain scans. And I thought that was pretty cool. I also like hang out with them at his house. We play like pinball, uh, talk about random stuff. He really likes pinball. He's a chill guy. He's a good guy, I think. Um, Thank you for Mike Peterson for the 50 Donkey Kong coins. Donkey Kong coin here. Have you ever had a mental decision, bite wing money, and personal interest? What is bite wing money? I don't know what that means. Brain scan AR art sounds like dystopian nightmares. It was really cool though. Like it was a cool idea. I mean, he showed up at the AGO, and that's where I met him. And he's got like a really cool like outfit at the AGO. I thought it was he had like the what was it? He was dressed like an artist, right? But like you know, you talk to him, he's a very down to earth guy, and you know, he's chill. You he's got like the weird uncle vibes. Isaac Raymond's got the weird uncle vibes. I like him. I don't think brain scan would be AI though, or is it? Well, it uses AI to like create an artwork based off of your brain scans. Hey Joe, bro, you're really out here, huh? Yeah, I go to the AGO. I'm Canadian. That's why. I've created in both Canada and Japan, most recently Tokyo. Both countries are very different. I love Tokyo because you still have a culture of people dedicated to visiting galleries slash being fans. Huh. What is the impression you got in Canada? I guess like from what I've gotten from Canadian art is that most people make their money from grants, and so a lot of the art tends to be political, either political and or historical. I want to look at the art scene in Japan. I think the art scene in Japan looks cool. Like people seem really passionate about like creating their like like personally, I want to make my home base Japan, but I want to show in like New York, in Canada. I want to show like anywhere around the world. I'm like cool with anything. Uh, but yeah, like I want to make a home base in Japan because like to me, Japan just feels very comfortable. I like the people there. They seem like very down to earth. They're also very passionate about like art and like the creating of art, which I think is really important. Uh, and they seem like very reasonable people, you know. And I like how in Japan it's not just about money, right? Like obviously I want to make money with art, but I like to be I'd like to surround myself with people who aren't just about money, you know, and then but I still want to like make as much money as possible, but I want to come back to people who don't care about that so it doesn't consume me, you know. So I want to just still create stuff that's like more about like my art. And from what I've seen with like Japanese people, at least Japanese people who are artists or like in like a specialized field, they don't care as much about money. In New York, though, a lot of people care about money, of course. I mean, like there's art aspects to it, but like art is a means to an end for money, which like to be fair, money's nice. It lets you work on bigger projects and stuff. But I feel like there needs to be aspects of both, or else you might get carried away. If you're too into like the art form, you never make anything productive. But if you're too much in it for the money, you lose the creativity, you lose the soul in it, right? Thank you for the 20 Donkey Kong dollars on art. Would feel like a job. Yeah, like if I'm like I've already determined, especially with like YouTube, right? Is that if I'm not creating something that feels like I can like be proud of, it's not gonna fulfill me. So, obviously you need money, but like I need some in between that uh I can make a lot of money but also still do something that's like I can express myself, which I feel like Japanese people kind of have that down, you know. Yeah, Japanese people are chill. Like I like Japanese people. They care a lot about what they do, which I do too. So you should be proud of your artistic skills. I got nothing. I've become just a neat. I mean, you can always start. There's nothing stopping you from stopping to be or starting to be an artist. Uh, it depends on the industry. It's quite a few cases. Animation in Japan is rather money driven. Hmm. Okay, I'd imagine that people who are running the animation companies are money driven, but the people actually going into animation, I doubt they care that much about money. I wish Italy was more open-minded about art instead. Everything feels always so stuck in tradition. Well, I guess they had like the Romans, right? They had like the old art stuff. I guess if they never grew out of it, then like they're just kind of stuck there. Ever thought about putting your art on clothes? Yeah, I have. I'm saying that because you actually do something with your time instead of just rotting. I mean, what's stopping you from not rotting with your time? I mean, I guess depression. That definitely is not makes it hard. Uh, but you can always just do something small. You should apply to a residency in Japan. I'm gonna need some like credentials to actually do that. So one of my plans that I have right now is one, I need to get artworks for an exhibition. Two, I want to go to art school in Japan. My goal is to go to Tokyo University of the Arts and study there for a bit. Like I want to take the Nihonga class because it seems interesting. It seems different from what I'm used to. Because usually when I was younger, I studied more like realistic painters, like more Renaissance style stuff. I got good at realism and also anime. Like so, when I was a small child, I just drew whatever, and then I drew cartoons. I drew like anime kind of characters and stuff. Uh, and then once I became like a teenager, because my dad's an artist, he didn't teach me art himself, which I wish he did. By the time I was learning how to draw, my dad had already stopped drawing and he's lost interest in it. He just went into programming instead. And to be fair, he was kind of like just absent in my life in general. But like, I really wish my father was more involved with me so that like he would actually teach me how to paint from like an early age. But no, he's just kind of doing his own thing. But like he encouraged me to draw, and he sometimes he would maybe give me like one or two pointers, but he's generally like pretty uninvolved in it. Um, when I was younger, I remember I kind of like ran on spite because like my dad wasn't there very often, and I wanted to get better than my dad as fast as possible, and that's why I got really good at painting like really fast. It was literally because of spite, which was kind of interesting motivator, but I was motivated by spite to be better than my dad at art. So like by the time I was like 15 or 16, I was already painting better than my dad when he was like in his 20s. Uh, so at this point now that I'm in my 20s, I just don't know what to do. Like I've already known how to paint realistically since I was like 15 or 16, and now I'm just uh like I don't really know what to do with painting. So I'm kind of going down like the Picasso route where I'm just like fucking around with like random stuff like this. And just cuz like at this point I don't need to learn like to draw, right? I don't need to prove to myself that I can draw cuz like I already know I already have been able to draw. Um like I mean like I got my portraits here. Like these took me like an hour or something, right? These are just to test like the paintbrushes I have, and I don't need to think about it. So now I'm just trying to explore other things, other aspects of art that make it unique or make my art stand out, right? Wait, you're 29? No, I'm not 29. Do you ever paint with watercolors? Yeah, I used to when I. She's 42. Yeah, I'm 42. Uh, but it looks like she's 14. I know. You know what? Guys, this pissed me off so much. Okay, you know what happens? I went to Detroit to like look at the art gallery there. So I went to the Detroit Art Gallery. The receptionist there, she saw me, right? Uh, and and she asked, "How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 23." And she's like, "You're 23? I thought you were 12." And I'm like, what kind of 12-year-old is 6 feet tall? And it's just like. Classic trainers. I'm like, ain't no way. Someone just thought I was 12. No way. like, no freaking way. What kind of 12-year-olds do you have? She had to be joking or she sounded serious. Because the lady beside her was like, Carol, don't say that. Like I said, like what kind of 12-year-old is 6 feet tall? And she was like, the 12-year-olds that these days they're really tall. I'm just like, what 12-year-olds are you looking at? I know a 12-year-old who is 6 feet. I mean, your room's messy as AF, not neat at all. No, well, this is more like a studio. Like I work here on like paintings and stuff. Thank you for the $2, Matthew Pickard. I know bro. She must be really short. Guys, when is Charlie gonna critique Salvador Dali? I know a 6'2" 12-year-old and they stream art content. What? What? Bro, that's insane. Got that manga bill. It was you. I'm not 6'2" though. Let's see. Studios are always messy. Otherwise, it ain't no studio at all. It's an office. Is she 6 foot for real? Yes, I am. I like tower over people. When I was at the art exhibitions, right? Like a lot of people were looking at me. They weren't giving me weird looks. They're like smiling at me or whatever. But I was like so awkward because like I've never really been to an exhibition and like I also tower over everybody because most people are like short and they're like old. They're like old and short. And I'm 6 feet tall and like I stand out a lot and it's like really weird. Anime type 12-year-old proportions. They think you're the art. She's still 6 feet. And like, bro, I don't know if the title's serious, but I'm glad for your steps out of neatdom. Thank you. Like, at the art exhibitions, people are pretty friendly. They don't care. Like if you ask them stuff, they like show you around. It's just for me. I'm just like really awkward because I've never been to it. I want to meet like more of these people, and I'm sure they're like great people. The people I've met so far, they're nice. But like from what I've heard from Isaac, I guess in a way he's kind of like my mentor at the moment because like he knows more about this stuff. So I talk to him sometimes to like learn because he has like a lot of interesting stories and like experience. So I just like listen to his stuff. He's talking about like there's some people in the art world who are like really nice, but there's some other people who are like really mean, and there's no in between. I thought that was kind of interesting to hear. Oh my god, it's the Chungster. How long has it been since last stream? I think I haven't been here for like half a year. Yeah, I haven't streamed for like half a year. I just stopped caring about YouTube. I just stopped because like I just needed to like do other aspects of my life because like I don't want my life to just be on the internet. So like I kind of made a goal and I told people that like I didn't want to be back on YouTube till I felt like I got other aspects of my life together or till I felt like I was doing better in life outside of YouTube. And I think I've gotten to that point where, like, I still get depressed sometimes, but like it's not so bad. I have friends now that I've made and, I have people to go. talk to IRL, so it's not so bad anymore. And so like I can just come to YouTube and just like screw around and not care as much about like other things that are happening in my life, and I feel like that's, I mean, that's good. It's more important. Uh and collabing. Yeah, I want to do collabs honestly, but like there's not a whole lot of art streamers on like YouTube or art YouTubers. I guess you got like Jazza and stuff. I guess, you know, like if my channel, once my channel gets like bigger, maybe I can like do collabs with people. Um, yeah, it just depends on how much time I have, because like I still want to dedicate more of my time to just like painting and like creating stuff and selling artwork, which like I was doing commissions and stuff for people, and that was quite a bit of money for some of the commissions. So it's good money if you can find the right people. Um, yeah, and like you just kind of, you know, make art, sell art, explore, uh, talk to people, and just, like do new things. It's just like, yeah, that's just life. Hope this doesn't sound weird, but it's nice to hear you talking in more absolutes. What does that mean? Is it like I'm more confident? You mean like I'm more confident? Could you take a commission for a drawing of pregnant Alex Jones? At the moment, I don't want to do commissions. I want to just, like, if anything, I'll, uh, I'll paint my own art and, like, I don't know, I'll put it on a website. I'll probably put it on my personal website, and you can contact me for the prices, because, uh, I don't want to put the, I don't want to put the prices on my website. It's more, prices are a very, like, personal, touchy subject, so, you know, if you want to inquire about a certain artwork, you can just contact or something, and I'll just put everything on the website. But I need to take pictures of everything in my collection now, so yeah. Will that piece you're holding be available? Yeah, probably. But like, I don't know. I'd need to decide also which artworks I want to use for like my exhibition or something, and I decide which ones I should just sell. Um, yeah, it's gonna be a bit to kind of like uh, know what to do with these. Yeah. Um, but like, yeah, I need to get like artworks for like an exhibition, probably have like a theme, and then I have like some other artworks that aren't like for that, so I could just probably sell those. I also have some practice artworks and stuff, just like to test out brushes. I'm sure there's some people who would buy them. Um, yeah. Physical arts always have buyers, but digital art training seems points AF. Ever thought of entering the industry? Vancouver's a pretty good place for TV animation. I remember there was one point, like when I was like 19 or something, where I really wanted to get a job, like a job in the art, like a concept artist or something. I applied to a bunch of places. I couldn't get anything. Nobody replied. And then I realized in Canada there's just no jobs for this kind of stuff. So kind of felt bad. And I just stopped doing it and then did YouTube. I got like connections with some people, and I actually ended up doing like a job for like Canadian Tire one time. Like I did like storyboards for a commercial for Canadian Tire and uh, stuff like that. So it, the connections got me somewhere, and it seems like from why, like my experience in Canada, at the very least, is that you cannot get jobs unless you have connections. And for Matthew, aka Orange Jesus, he teaches people, and sometimes he does like polls in like his class, of just like, who has a job and how did you get that job. I think he did a polling of like 50 students or something of just like who has a job, and I think only like 2 or 3 of them had a job. And he said, out of all of you, like, who got it through connections, and all 3 of them raised their hands. So, like only like 3 or 4% of, like, 4 to 8% of people have a job, and out of the people who have a job, all of them are from connections. Which is ridiculous. First of all, it's like, holy shit, you really just can't get a job without connections. And so I started just like making connections, and I did get some work, but nothing like super consistent. I did a job for Canadian Tire, which is like cool. And then I started doing the YouTube thing, because it's like I realized it's better to do like my own thing, because it's just more stable. And yeah. Currently, even applying to jobs is next to useless without a referral. Yeah, like unironically, like I know somebody who's like applied to like 800, like he graduated from engineering. He's an electrical engineer graduate, and he applied to 800 jobs, right? Job positions. He got no interviews at all, like no responses. And like he's went to like job like agencies to help him, and they said his resume is completely fine, right? uh and nope, he sent his application out 800 times, and nothing, absolutely nothing. It's like, damn, that's brutal. So I don't know, kind of like when you get to that point, you start to realize that like nobody's winning, so you just kind of give up and do something else. So I guess how I'm doing it is I do commissions and sell art, and to be honest, that's more stable than actually having a real job. Trust me, you can still feel jobless even though you have one. Point is, just do what you like to do. Honestly, yeah, that's a vibe. Like, I mean, I'm doing what I like to do. I'm just making paintings. I love making paintings. I've been really enjoying it, actually. I've been spending so much money on like art supplies, you wouldn't believe. Like even just like the tube of paint is like $50. Like I bought the other day, uh, or like a couple weeks ago, I bought like $200 worth of brushes, and I bought a bunch of paints, and that's like hundreds of dollars. And then I'm making a canvas, my own canvas right now, which, to be fair, like if I were to buy a canvas this size, like 60 by 60 inches, it'd be like $200, but I'm doing this for like 60. But I think I also bought some other wood, and in total at the wood store, I paid like about $100 for like all the stuff I got. So it's just like 100 here, 200 there. Doing art's expensive, but like people pay money for it, so like I can still I can do what I love to do and what I'm good at. Uh, Cheaper in the long run. Yeah, like making your own canvases. Like, there is some places that do sell like a canvas stretcher, so they sell like the pre-cut sort of like planks for you to make into canvas. But that's not much cheaper than just buying the canvas, from what I found. It's only cheaper if you actually just get the planks, and it's not cheaper if you get the planks from Home Depot. You have to get it from like a specific like supplier that gives you good prices. Because if you get Home Depot prices, the Home Depot is like overcharges you out the ass for wood. Um, Home Depot is like overpriced as fuck. So you don't go to Home Depot for it. You go from where I get it. I get it from like the Wood Source, it's called, and they have good prices, and the wood quality is like super good. Like this plank here, it's like perfectly milled. It's nice and smooth, and it's like super straight. So I could just use this without needing a planer or anything, just straight out as is. It's like almost perfectly straight, and I can make a canvas out of this, like just as is, right off the shelf. Just grow your own forehead. Japan have been struggling with a labor shortage in every industry in recent years. Yeah, because nobody's having kids, which I guess is good for me because I'm moving there, and they'll be desperate for young people. So yeah. How can wood be gay? I don't know if it came from you. Yeah, but Japan's overwork is real. We have kids in Japan. I'm not thinking about that, man. Will you fit in Japan? Well, I speak Japanese. I have Japanese friends. I go to Japan, they think I'm Japanese. You know, when I try to explain to them that I'm not from Japan, they don't believe it. So I think I fit in. I think they meant the height part. There's tall people in Japan too. Like, they don't really pay attention to the body. They just pay attention, like, is your face Japanese? And yeah, so then, you know, like 3 tall people in Japan. I mean, when I went to Japan, I saw some tall people. There were definitely people who are taller than me. They're rare, but they did exist. The other 2 are sumo wrestlers. They were Japanese. There was one girl that I saw in the train station, and she was kind of there, and you know, she has like a baby face. You know how like some Asian people, they just have baby face, and so she was like super tiny looking, but she was like taller than me. She was like 6'3", right? Freakishly tall, but she had the face of a child, and I was like, yo, no way this person is taller than me. She unironically looked like 2 kids in a body, like she looked like 2 kids in a trench coat, and I was like, yeah, no way this is a thing. 6'4" was real. Recently went to Japan, made my dream come true and see what it was like. But yeah, a lot of people are tall over there. Yeah, you were saying, I'm right. You guys never been to Japan before. If you never been to Japan before, you don't speak Japanese, shut the fuck up. Don't have opinions about Japan if you don't speak Japanese. Just saying, man. Like, just don't. You guys in the chat, you don't speak Japanese, don't have opinions about Japan, period. You know? Backseating Japan is crazy. It happens way too much, and I don't like it. So, honestly, like... Ramen sushi there, I'm good. Okay, like, you can't backseat Japan, right? Like, you can say, like, oh, you can make observational things. You can say you like certain things. you know, but you can't backseat Japan, honestly. Like, I don't like those kind of comments. So, yeah, just if you don't speak Japanese, don't backseat Japan. You know. What if I know a single Japanese word? Bro, all countries backseat. No, no, that's just not true. I ate onigiri before and watched Pokemon so I can backseat, right? You mean jelly donuts? I literally eat worms and earthworms from the ground and raw crawfish from the sea. 日本語わかりますか? I like a K-pop group as a Japanese member. Does that count? How's your Tekken journey? I haven't played Tekken in a while. Like, I don't know. I've just been busy with stuff, especially with my comic. So, yeah. Have you checked out Such As Gallery in Shimokitazawa? They have a really good balance of traditional artists as well as internet-based art people. I haven't actually checked that. Next time I go to Japan, though, I'll check it. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs, Shark Kigo. Comics do tell. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it too much, but like I've worked on a comics project with a studio and I finished it recently, so they're publishing it now, and I think they're doing like a tour with it to like show people it and sell it at like conventions. Um, I don't really know how it's going, so yeah, I don't know, but my comic looks pretty cool. I'm proud of how it came out. Uh, all right, based art Charlotte, I'm up for tonight. Can't wait for the upcoming Banksy art review. Oh yeah, I did actually go to a Banksy art exhibition. Let's fucking go. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, I'm tired. What time is it? It is 10:52, almost 11. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting a bit tired now, so I should probably close the stream. Um, Nice seeing you guys, and I'll pop by again sometime. Like, I don't. It was pretty fun this time. I feel better now, so I don't feel like I don't feel so shitty. And yeah, I don't know. I'll pop by again. I'll try to. So yeah, see ya. I got some painting projects to do on stream. Bye.